Well, we already got these 9 movies taken care of. That only, well, actually 10 if you count Captain Marvel. So that only leaves these 11 left. Let's see who will be number one. We're at the final 11 movies of this list. So let's start off with Thor Ragnarok. This is easily the best Thor movie by a landslide. I think the movie has some great comedy, some really well done characters, and easily has the best use of the Hulk in the entire MCU. The Hulk is really well done in this movie, and I really liked it. Thor's character arc is really well done, and it's actually kind of good. Like, seriously, how he learns that no one should be Odin's successor, since Odin's truth was built on lies and killing. So he realized that he should not be king, meaning no one should be Odin's successor. And it concludes his character arc, like how in the first movie he proved to be worthy of being the king, but in the second movie he decides to not be the king. And also, the other characters such as Korg and Valkyrie are really cool, and I even liked Hela. And of course, Loki is awesome as always, so yeah. This goes to the number 11 spot on the list. Number 10, and Captain America, the First Avenger. The first hour of this movie is really amazing. Like, seriously, this movie perfectly understands Steve Rogers' character, how he's an optimistic guy, and it's actually really good in my opinion. I really like that moment where, after he gets the super serum, he still has an awkward time talking to girls, since he's basically the same character underneath it all. And it's a really good character arc, and some of the other characters are really cool, like Agent Carter, and of course, one of my personal favorites, it's the military dude. Mainly due to the fact how awesome he is. And also, hey Elijah! So yeah, it's a really well done movie, and it's a good origin story movie. Okay, now we're getting to the movies I absolutely adore with every branch of my heart. Number 9, Iron Man 3. This movie might be considered the worst Iron Man movie, but spoilers, it's not. That goes to Iron Man 2, aka 2-hour Avengers trailer. This movie is freaking amazing. Seriously, I love the story arc for Tony in this movie. How he realizes that he is more than just being the guy in the suit. He's the one who makes the suit, not the suit. Well, basically, it's him realizing that he's more than the suit, and the action is some of the best we've seen from Tony Stark in this movie. Like, there's this one scene where he breaks into a guy's mansion with just some supplies from a grocery store. That is hardcore, in my opinion. And also, the suits work I actually feel like actual tech, in my opinion. Like how they're still functional, but they have some screw looses, sort of like Tony in a way. And Rhodey is awesome. I like the idea of how they make the Mandarin an idea. That's actually really cool, in my opinion. So it goes to number 9 on this list. Number 8, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Yeah, I'll admit, the first time I watched this movie, this was probably like top 3 MCU films. But after rewatching this movie again, it has gone down by a little bit. Some of the jokes are still funny, but some aren't. But it is still a really well done movie. All the actors are really cool. And this movie got me to feel bad for a talking tree and a talking raccoon. That is Oscar worthy. And also turned the chubby guy from Parks and Recreation into a beefcake. In fact, so far I'm watching Parks and Recreation, and he's the best part about the entire show. So yeah, Guardians Volume 1 is just simply amazing. Number 7, SpiderMan Homecoming. This is probably my second favorite Spider-Man movie behind Spider-Verse, and it is really well done. It feels really well made, and also, it feels so fun to watch this movie. I like how there's no high stakes in the film, really, since, usually the MCU, it's all like, oh, we have to stop this guy or something, but no, it's just like a villain, like a small-time villain, sort of like how in the Marvel Netflix shows. And also, Tom Holland is probably the best we've had in a live-action Peter Parker, along with Andrew Garfield. I don't care what anyone says, Tobey Maguire is the worst live-action Spider-Man. Vulture is amazing, he's such a really good villain in my opinion, and all the other characters I do like. And also, Ned watches porn in the movie, so, Number 6 on this list. Now, I'm not gonna lie, these next 3 were hard to rank, but number 6 on this list does go to Captain America: The Winter Soldier, mainly because of something that happened in Captain Marvel. Seriously, I will never forgive you, Captain Marvel, for what you did to Nick Fury's eye. The action in this movie is outstanding, and unlike Iron Man 2, Black Widow, and Nick Fury actually serve a purpose to the story, unlike Iron Man 2. Ooh, Chris Evans is awesome in this movie, and the Winter Soldier is freaking awesome. Seriously, I really wish he has his own movie, but still. And also, thankfully, we're getting a Black Widow movie next year. So yeah, that looks pretty awesome. And also, I like how this movie shows that Cap represents American spirit rather than American government. And I like how they made this optimistic soldier into a person who's fighting the government he thought he could believe. It's a really well-made movie, and it was the first movie made by the Russo brothers. Number 5 on this list goes to the movie that started the whole thing, Iron Man. This is a really well-done origin story for Tony Stark, or how he feels that he wants to correct the misdeeds he has done, and he wants to try and find forgiveness. Tony Stark in this movie is simply outstanding. Robert Downey Jr. is perfect in the role. The CGI is so well done, and it is probably one of my top 10 favorite superhero movies. I simply adore Iron Man to death. Number 4 on this list goes to Avengers. This was the movie that the fans wanted for years, and we finally got it in glorious perfection. All the actors have perfect chemistry with one another. Each characters are really well done. The villain, Loki, is one of the best villains in the MCU. The action, especially that climax, is phenomenal. Everything about this movie for me pretty much works, in my opinion. I even like the stuff on the helicarrier at the beginning of the movie. Okay, now we're getting into the top 3 of these MCU movies. And if you've seen the movies, you probably know which are these top 3. All of them take place in Phase 3, and these movies are kind of hard to rank between. But I found my ranking, so number 3 on this list goes to Captain America: The Civil War. Okay, I know it's kind of hard to do the sunlight and all, but still. Captain America: Civil War is easily the second best movie made by the Russos. The action is phenomenal, the characters are well written. This movie was able to introduce both Black Panther and Spider-Man, and not like that vs. Superman where it had to introduce a bajillion characters. This movie only had to introduce like 3 or so. And these characters actually serve a purpose to the story, unlike Wonder Woman and Batman vs. Superman. Seriously, what was the point of her other than her being a deus ex machina? The action is phenomenal, all the characters are well written, and the story is some of the best in the MCU in my opinion. And I love this movie to death. Number 2 on this list goes to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This is probably one of the most emotional movies in the MCU, period. All the actors are well better. I think this movie does everything better than the first movie, in my opinion. The music, like with the first movie, the music fits the tone, and it fits the scenes, in my opinion. Unlike Suicide Squad, where they just threw in random music songs out of nowhere that don't fit the scene at all. The characters are awesome as always, and that's probably one of those saddest endings you will ever see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you are not upset by the end of the movie, you are a robot sent from Skynet to destroy the world. And this movie even improved characters, even made characters better in this movie, such as Yondu, Gamora, Drax, and Nebula. The special effects are amazing, and this movie was clearly a passion project by James Gunn. So, I've covered 20 movies, but what could be the best? Well, you probably know what it is. It's Avengers Infinity War. Seriously, how can this not be in the top 10? This movie was outstanding, and was my favorite movie of last year, tied with... Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry about that moment. Okay, I'm sorry about that, but let me just grab it real quick. What? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that, guys. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. It was tied with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse for my favorite movie of last year. And I don't know, maybe I'll rewatch these movies again to see which one I do prefer. So, yeah, everything about Infinity War works. Even though it has to juggle millions of characters, it all works beautifully in my opinion. The ending was traumatizing to say the least. Like, seriously, when this movie was over and the credits started rolling, everyone was just like, no one could get up. Like, everyone was just like, seriously, that's how well done it was. And Thanos, I was not expecting to sympathize with this guy and actually like him. You would think you would want to like this guy, like, oh, he's just that bland, boring villain. But no, he's actually a complex character. And he's easily a really well-made character, and you actually feel like he's the protagonist of the movie. The theme of this movie is sacrifice. Like, seriously. Like, for example, Thanos wins by doing a lot of sacrificing. The reason why the heroes lose is because they don't sacrifice. Doctor Strange isn't willing to sacrifice Tony. The Avengers aren't willing to sacrifice Vision. And yeah, it's really well done in my opinion. And the ending is amazing. Like, imagine what would happen if no other MCU movie came out after this. Even though it would be a sad way to go out for the MCU, it would be a glorious one in my opinion. And this is an instant masterpiece. So, I'll see you all later on the day that the Endgame comes out. So see you all later, and bye. I'm taking a one-day vacation, okay? You shall all be grateful.